Welcome to the School of Eschatology. I'm your host, the Archbishop Kepha Ben Israel, Doctor of Divinity. And I'm also your lead professor, your master teacher for the hour. We want to thank you for being here on whatever platform you're watching us on. Shout out to Facebook pages. If you're watching us on Facebook pages, that means that you're watching us on the Ben Israel page. If you're watching us on Meta Business Suite, if you're watching us on Meta Business Suite, then you are connected to the page that is called Apostle Kepha Ben Israel DD, Doctor of Divinity. You could be watching us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Bishop Kepha, or you're watching us at Kepha, Kepha 77 on Twitch, or my favorite, you could be watching us on YouTube. That's right, you could be watching us on YouTube at Dr. Kepha Ben Israel. But at whatever platform you're watching us on, we want to thank you. Welcome to the School of Eschatology, where we have learned the mastery and the art of the end times, where we're teaching people how to know the difference between what is being said and what is not being said. There it is. We're here and we're clear about where we're going today. Today, we're going to be talking about the Nephilim. A lot of you may say, well, what is the Nephilim? Who are the Nephilim? Well, Nephilim, point blank, are the offspring of the fallen angels, the first demons that fell from heaven. Okay. We're going to go over certain scriptures that talk about what happened with these fallen angels and why it is important today. Why is it so important to us today? It is very, very important for us to understand and identify with the enemy. If you are taking our School of Eschatology on the weekend, if you're taking it during the week, that's good. But on the weekend, we have a different format and criteria. Um, for those people that have missed the criteria for this weekend we're going to be studying Isaiah, the 14th chapter. We're going to be studying Isaiah, the 14th chapter. We're going to start at the verses 12 through 23. Verses 12 through 23. We're going to be talking about Satan. In the Hebrew, we call him Hasatan. In the Hebrew, we call him Hasatan. Okay? He is the enemy. He is that enemy that has been declared against our lives, and we want to talk about him and identify the presence of him so that you will be educated on the subject of the one that they call the devil. Some people call him Saint Nick. Yeah. Some people, there's various names for him. When he was a gatekeeper of hell, because he was not involved in the activities of Simhajah and Azazel, all the different fallen angels that came to earth and started the collaboration on Mount Carmel, Mount Sinai. He was not part of that. So because he was not part of that, he became what we call the gatekeeper. Now, as the gatekeeper, his name was Abnon. As the gatekeeper, his name was Abnon. Abnon was the one that kept people in, kept people out, opened the door for people, did certain things, because hell, or Tartarus, because the Hebrew word for hell is Tartarus. That place was made for the fallen angels. Let me say that very clearly. That particular place was made for the fallen angels. It was not made for human consumption. So when people talking about, you're gonna die and go to hell, or you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, and they're gonna, you're gonna do something bad, you're gonna go to hell. That was never the intention of the Most High Yah. That was never his intention. He did not make that pit for human consumption. But because man having a free will, now you have to understand that when man was created, when Ahava and Adam, or even Adam and Eve, as you would say, when they were created to walk in the perfection of God, but they were not made perfect. I'm about to mess y'all up. They were created to walk in the perfection of the Elohim, of God. Okay? But they were not made perfect. They were not made flawless. They were made with open choices and the ability to live, to speak, to breathe, to eat, to sleep, to drink. And the freedom itself was chosen by them. Okay, I want y'all to understand that, because the other perspective of that, of course we know all of this that I'm talking about is in the book of Genesis, but the other perspective of what I'm talking about is in the book of Jubilees. That's right. You go look it up, Google it, whatever you got to do. There's all different transcripts about it. You can even go to Amazon. There's Amazon transcripts about the book of Jubilees and all the different ones. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I apologize. The book of Yasher. Some people list it as the book of Jasher with a J, but its proper pronunciation is the book of Yasher with a Y. So this accumulation of Adam and Eve and their disobedience was a choice. They were given the option in creation to make the choice. Now, they were exposed to real life circumstances and real life beings. I mean, as a matter of fact, they were in a stratosphere, in a realm that exists, but humans do not even have access to that realm anymore. But during the time of Adam and Eve, there was access to this Eden realm. The Eden, I call it the Eden effect. EDEN, the Eden effect, or the Eden realm. All right, because it got so bad that when Adam and Eve sinned, there was a cherubim, which is a warring angel, with a fiery sword that was placed in front of the creation of Eden so that humans could not go back in there. So I don't hear I hear a lot of people talking about, yeah, I went to heaven, I died and went to heaven, and they write a book about it and so-called changed their life, and most of them ain't changed their life a bit more than the man on the moon. But you don't hear a lot of people talking about the change and being close to death or going in a spirit realm and them going to Eden. You want to know why? Because they can't get in there. There's a cherubim, a fighting, a protection angel that's sitting in front of the Garden of Eden, disallowing the opportunity for humans to enter in. That's a spiritual realm. That's a spiritual realm. And when that garden, later in my teachings, I'm going to really be getting in detail about the position or the positioning of Eden and where Eden is at right now, or where we are at, because Eden hasn't changed. The position of Eden has not even been relocated. It's always been sitting there. We just didn't have access to it. Satan himself, Satan, he appeared to Adam and Eve during this time in this period as a serpent. Now, a lot of people, theologians, excuse me, and a lot of different smart people would like to say that the snake, which the snake and the serpent are one and the same, they are the same thing. A lot of people would like to say that the serpent had legs, and they want to associate the fruit of knowledge that was in the tree of knowledge, excuse me. They like to associate that with sex. A lot of people like to associate that with sex. That is why some of these extra adverted books are very important when it comes down to that. The book of Yasher, in the first two chapters, gives another perspective. It gives another perspective of I don't want to say story, but of the facts of creation when it comes down to Adam and Eve. Okay? That's in the book of Yasher. You look it up online. You know what I'm saying? These books, get them while you can, because a lot of these books you're not going to have access to after a while. Even the conversation that I'm having right now will be limited, and I don't really think it's going to be long. I think it's going to come into the end of this year up until 2020, 2025, 2026, that we are going to see a canceling, if you will, of people talking about the perspectives of the Bible. Understand that the Bible itself was collectively decided upon in 325 AD by the Council of Nicaea, or the Council of Nicaea. So they decided, okay, these books are divine, because the whole argument, one of the arguments, or the major part of the argument that the Council of Nicaea had, was they were debating and arguing over the divinity of Christ, the divine nature. Help me, somebody. They were talking about the divine nature of Christ. So because certain books didn't go there, they left them out. Or maybe some of the books went there, but they went beyond the understanding of that council, such as the book of Enoch, such as the book of Yasher, Jubilees, the all the volumes of the Maccabees, because I believe it's 4. There were so many. Now, if you want a thorough Bible and you want a thorough understanding of a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about here at the School of Eschatology, I would advise you to go on the open market, wherever that open market is, whether it is Amazon or whether it is eBay, or right now you can go to thriftbooks.com, and I would want you to get the Ethiopian Bible. If you can download it on your Google Play or your Apple Play, your Apple Store, whatever store that you have on your phone or on your your tablet, whether you have an iPad or whether you have a Samsung tablet or whatever the device is that you are using, I would advise you to download or pay for the Ethiopian Bible. Now, I found the other day, I was messing around on the Kindle, which is the the Amazon reading site, and I found the Ethiopian Bible on there for I think it was $4.99. I think it was $4.99 on there. But either way it go, that is probably one of the oldest Bibles in existence. that has clarity on just about all of the books. You're going to see a whole array of different things. All the things that I'm talking about are right there in that Ethiopian Bible. And it was written way before the King James Version. Okay? It was written way before the King James Version. The original King James Version was noted as a serious Bible, I believe in 1699, 95, something like that. If somebody watching me can look it up, you can put it on the in the chat. But I believe it was 1695. Between 1699 to 1695 is when the final cut, or 1665, something in that nature, to the final release of the King James Bible. Now, note you that the King James Bible that most of you are reading today is not the same King James Bible. Okay, it does not have the same transliterations, because the authoritative King James Bible that they like to use today, a lot of people don't realize that some words were taken out, like the name of Messiah. You know, in English we say his name is Jesus. Okay, that's what we say in English, because that is a translation, not a transliteration. But when the scholars were writing the King James Bible, thank God that they had enough sense to transliterate words. The name of the Messiah was not Jesus, but it was Yasha. Yasha. It was spelled Yasha. Yasha. Some people take the H out and they just use a Yasa. That's what some people do, even though that's not really plausible to our connection of words and vowels and so on like that. But either way it go, in that particular Bible, they use the word Yasha for the Messiah. And some people say, now it just depends on who you get it from. Some people say they use the word Messiah. Some people say that they use the word Mashiach. Some people use the word Mashiach. Of course, Mashiach is a little bit closer to the translation or the transliteration that we actually were that they were actually using in that time. But the word Messiah is a conjugate and is good. It's good. Heck, you can use Christ. You could use the word Christ. The word Christ just simply means anointed one. Okay, anointed one. And we always, if you come from the country like me, we always say Jesus Christ. When it's the proper, when you put the vowels and the words in the proper places, it is Jesus the Christ, Jesus the Messiah. Okay, he did not wear that as a title. That was his identity. Hello, somebody. If you're a preacher and you're watching me, understand that your prefix before your name does not it describes your position, not your person. Archbishop describes my position and not my person. But I use it professionally to let people know, and that for folks that do not identify with me, they are identified with who I am. Help me, somebody. Because there's a lot of people running around here talking about, oh, I don't do titles. Well, you don't have to do titles. Get a position. Because when you get a position, then people can not only recognize that position, but they will give credence to that. And they will understand when you open your mouth who you are. It was the Apostle Paul. Oh, my goodness. Y'all ain't going to mess with me. It was, let me go deep. Let me go knee deep with you a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the Nephilim a little bit. Now, it was Yehoshua, Jesus, that appointed the 12 apostles. Each one of those apostles had a position of oversight. Oh my goodness, I'm getting knee deep. So, the position of oversight, it was easy to say that they were apostles and they oversaw a region, a church, a group of churches, whatever the case may be, because it was never specified as to the extent of their oversight. I'm trying to teach y'all something. It was not specified of the extent of their oversight, because it could have been churches, it could have been house churches, because that was a popular thing during the time of Paul, that people met in houses and were teaching and praying and prophesying and et cetera and so on like that. So it could have been a group of houses in a region that they deemed assemblies or churches, if you will. All right, but the believers at that time, they were hungry, so it could have been many in one place, or it could have been few in one place. But either way it go, they were assembled, so they were known as assemblies. Okay, this goes into the narrative of the book of Acts when you talk about the birthing of the church, as people likes to call it, which is the ascension or the descension of the Ruach, the breathed upon spirit, which is holy, into man. When everybody was sitting in the upper room and the Holy Spirit came upon them. Okay, so then you had assemblies. That's when they assembled together. Now we call it church meetings. But then I must remind you, Lord have mercy, I'm knocking my microphone everywhere, y'all. I'm getting excited. Let me remind y'all that in 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter and the 16th verse, it says, know ye, now this is from the King James Bible. It says, know ye that you are the temple of God, Elohim. And if you are the temple of God, Elohim, then the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, lives in you. Whew, my goodness. So that means that everywhere you go, the church is with you, because now you have become the church. You have become the entity and the living organism and the result of the salvation of one Messiah that was hung on a stake for your sins and killed by the Romans by the order and the confusion of the Jewish nation. Oh, y'all don't like what I'm saying here. The Jewish nation, or the kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of Jews, did not receive him because they thought it was blasphemous for him to say that he was the Son of God. I'm trying to help somebody. That is the way that people somewhat look at some of you. When you come with these incredible revelations of prophetic results, they come at you like you're wild and crazy. But let me explain something to you, and this is something I'm going to be teaching in spurts. When you start talking about the very first prophet that that Yah placed upon the earth, that he spoke to upon the earth, that very prophet, his name was Enoch. And there's a whole chapter in the book of Yasher. I'm not going to spoil it for some of y'all, but there's a whole chapter in the book of Yasher, the 3rd chapter to be exact, that talks about the emergence and the lifestyle of one Enoch, who was a prophet, a man that walked with Elohim. He walked with God. Oh, my goodness. Hello, somebody. There's a proper way of the prophetic. There is a proper distinction of the prophetic and a proper distinction of the ways of the prophetic. A lot of people are just coming out here and randomly speaking and speaking things off the side of their neck and so on like that. No, there is a training period that must go forth when it comes down to the prophetic, because we have to understand which voice is speaking to us. And once we understand which voice is speaking to us, then and only then can we relay as a messenger of the Most High. We cannot call ourselves a messenger of the Most High if we are not confident in what the Most High has to say. Heck, look at Jeremiah. When Jeremiah spoke to the assembly, he spoke to the assembly without his natural mind understanding what was going on. As a matter of fact, he didn't even really remember a lot of the things that the Spirit overtook his body, took his mouth, took his mind, and his brain to speak. He didn't get it. And some of y'all are that way now. And I'm trying to help you in your everyday walk to understand what it is that you have become in your in the presence of the Most High. Now, I want to talk to you about the Nephilim just a little bit. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time all day and all night doing that, but I do want to get into this and see how much you guys know about this situation that came about with the fallen angels. Let's see where we're going to go. We're going to go to the book of Enoch, and we want to examine. Let me see, Enoch chapter. I'm going to see if it's chapter number 6. We don't want to mess up the flow here in the class. Okay, Enoch chapter. What chapter is this? I believe this is wait a minute. I think it's chapter 7. Let me make sure. I do believe it is chapter 7. In the book of Enoch, if you don't have a physical copy of the book of Enoch, you can download it from many different sources in your Play Store, in your Apple Store. But if you Google it, just say, type in the book of Enoch, and you will see many different versions of the book of Enoch. And doesn't matter really, it really doesn't matter what version you get, just as long as you get it in its completion in its entirety. Okay, let's start in the book of Enoch, chapter number 7, verse number 1. I'm going to be reading from a version that they call the Sefer, or some people call it the Sefer. Okay, and it's a very accurate transliteration. It's not a translation, but it is a transliteration. When you transliterate something, you don't take away from the original meaning. So everything I'm going to be reading is an original meaning. Okay. Verse number 1. And it happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days, that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. Verse number 10. And when the watchers, we're talking about the fallen angels, and when the watchers, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, come, let us select for ourselves come, let us select for ourselves women from the prodigy of men, and let us beget children. So it was a plan from the beginning for the fallen angels, the first demons. You're going to hear me reference that a lot. the first demons. It was a plan for them to pollute the women. Why is it that everybody wants to pollute the women? When you look at the circumstance and situation with Adam and Eve, it was Eve that was beguiled or was tempted and fooled and tricked into partaking into the fruit of the tree of knowledge and life. Why is it the women? Here we go with the first demons, if you will, the fallen angels, and they targeted the women. Well, I'm going to tell you why they targeted women and why they consistently target women, because women are the only ones that have the ability of reproduction. Y'all better hear me now. It is the women that have the ability of reproduction. And through this reproduction, we can start pollution. You ever heard of the saying that one bad apple in the group spoils the whole bunch? Well, if you do this thing in the middle or in the process of production or reproduction, if you will, what you are doing in essence is not only creating a society, but you are creating a rebellion in a society. Somebody help me now. That's what they're doing. The demonic forces and the elements of the demonic forces understand that they cannot destroy the image of God, which the image of God is man. You cannot destroy the image of God without the pollution of its seed. And it is the woman that controls and is the mass producer of the seed of God. Whew. That's why we have a target. That's why you women have to be careful who you get in bed with, who you play with, who you deal with, because you're dealing with forces that go way beyond your emotions. Can I keep it real? You're dealing with forces that go way beyond your emotions and your feelings. Because to know oneself is to know the behavioral mannerisms in which you will react and act to things sexually and romantically. Can anybody lay you down, or are you reserved and have that spirit of discernment to know when you got the right one in your life? Whew, my goodness, help me somebody. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Verse number 3, then their leader, talking about the leader of the first demons, then their leader, Simhejah, said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise. They had already made the pact between each other that they were going to produce babies from human women. And Simhejah got scared. He said, look here, y'all going to leave me hanging. I'm going to do one, but y'all ain't going to do one. He was afraid. This is something that demonic forces can't even trust each other. And it should be the opposite for the sons and the daughters of the Most High. But for whatever reason, we have more distrust between us than anyone has ever imagined or can even fathom. Oh, I'm talking right now. Watch this, watch this. And that I alone shall suffer for such grievous crime. Now, Simhejah knew that the practice and the action of mixing races, such as from demonic to human, he knew, excuse me, he knew it wasn't lawful. But there's a story we're building here. He knew it wasn't lawful. Why wasn't it lawful? because at the time, that had been dispersed to the earth was polluted. They were kicked out of heaven because they were in danger of polluting the heavenly host. They didn't quite get the job done. They didn't quite get the job done, but they were in danger of polluting the heavenly host. Whew. That's the reason why they got kicked out of heaven. Now, here they are in the earth realm, and they knew that the earth was fascinated by the one word called choice. It all could have been avoided without the lust of the flesh. It was the choice of the lust of the flesh that led the women to lay down with these God-forsaken men. They had it going on. They had power. They had abilities. They probably had money. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. And this is the reason why they did not feel bad about laying down with them, because of the security of being taken care of. Oh, y'all ain't going to talk to me out there. Every woman's dream is for a man to take care of them. But be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Because just because somebody's taking care of you does not necessarily mean they are the right person for you, because they will have mannerisms of falsehood, and also that can lead to a spirit of abuse. Y'all better hear me now. It can lead to a spirit of abuse. So you got to be careful what you're asking for out there. You got to be careful what you're saying that the Most High is approving of or disapproving of, because he does not approve of everything. Just because all the lines are in place and all the dots are there, then that does not necessarily mean that that's where it's at. Oh my goodness, y'all better help me. Okay, I know I'm getting some people mad right now. Verse number 5, but they answered him and said, we all swear. Then verse number 6, and bind ourselves by mutual excretions, in other words, mutual agreement, that we will not change our intentions, but execute the projected undertaking. Verse number 7, then they all swore together and all bound themselves by mutual excretions, which is agreement. Their whole number, watch this, y'all, their whole number was 200, talking about the leaders of the fallen angels, the first demons. 200 who descended upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Sharon or Shaman. Yeah, the mountain, therefore, was called Shaman because they had sworn upon it and bound themselves by mutual agreement. My goodness. Even the demonic forces have to agree in order to cause trouble. To produce this offspring called the Nephilim, there had to be a handshake. There had to be an agreement to do it. Y'all better hear what I'm saying. Had to be an agreement of chaos. Woo. The late Prince came out with a song. You guys go back and check it out when he was in his contract dispute with Warner Brothers, when he was just formerly known as Prince. He produced and wrote an album that didn't get a lot of airplay, but it did sell pretty good on the underground circuit. And the song that hit off of it was a song that probably most people don't even remember or probably wouldn't like. But the song was called Chaos and Disorders. Okay. It talked about the confusion of America. And it talked about the miscombobulation of interpretation in the world. It's chaos and disorder. That is what Simhajai, Azazel, Prada, and all the first demons came to the earth to do, which was to cause a state of confusion and put the world in a chaos and disorder. Y'all don't like me right now because we are still in that mode of chaos and disorder because we have allowed the mixture of evil with good. And without the spirit of discernment and the protection of the Holy Spirit, it has caused a reproduction of confusion upon the earth realm. That's what it's done. It's caused a mass production, if you will, of confusion, a mass production of literal setup from the get up. Oh yeah, the fallen angels, the first demons planned this and decided they were going to do this. And they did it with so much simplicity that no one could tell what they were doing. They just fell into it. Help me, somebody. They just fell into it because they did not really have any direction. They didn't have any direction. They just spoke with mass confusion in there, because that's the reason why you have a lot of people running around talking about, I don't do titles. I'm not into titles. It is not the title that makes them feel the way they do, people. It is not the title. It is the intimidation of the position. Let me speak to somebody clearly that is watching me on one of the platforms. The people are intimidated by you because of your position, not because of your title, because they know if the prefix in front of your name fits your work, then they know they're in trouble. Oh, come on, somebody. They know they are in trouble because they know that help has come for those that need help. Rescue has come for those that need rescue. Clarity has come for those that need clarity. I'm speaking directly to you. I'm letting you know that even though weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. This is a belief, and this is a practice, and this is a reality that we must come to when we're dealing with this particular topic and subject, because the fallen angels, the first demons, have come with a plan to confuse and to combobulate man, to work him over to the point where he does not understand what is going on. Oh my goodness. I'm not running out of time. Oh, yes, I am. Excuse me. I'm not running out of word, but I am running out of time. I need to see in the chat. I want to see in the chat how many people want me to come back and do another video via these platforms this week. I'm not going to say when this week. It could be Friday. I'm not sure, but I want to see how many people want to see me come back this week. Y'all put it in the chat so I can see it. Put it in your chat, in your respective chats where you're watching me. Do you want me to come back this week and finish out this particular teaching? You can sign up for our class via Zoom on Saturday and Sunday, which meets at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, and 4 p.m. Mountain and Pacific. This is every Saturday and Sunday. Now, that class is $40 per week. $40 per week. Whatever platform you're watching me on, contact me on that platform, and we can work it out. Or you can email me. You can email me at Dr. Dr. lowercase Keefa Kepha Ben Ben Israel Israel, and then the number 77 at Comcast.net. Okay, that's how you contact me. Yeah, okay. I see Tamika. Bless you, Tamika. So you want me to come back? So Tamika is speaking for y'all. I guess I'm gonna come back on Friday. If you're watching me on Facebook, if you're looking at me on Twitter, if you're watching me on the Facebook pages, which is the Ben Israel page, look for my response. We're going to set it up on Friday evening that we're going to finish out this particular teaching. We're going to be talking about the Nephilim, the effect of the Nephilim, and why they are still here in the earth realm. I ain't even got to that yet. We got to get to the good part. But the Apostle Paul has given me wisdom in his words. He said that we know in part and we prophesy in part. So we can't give up the goods every which way we can think of. Now, if you would like to donate to what we do, which we are not a school that receives federal grants and funding from the state, you want to donate to us, you can go to the Cash App, hit the $, type in Chief Apostle Kepha. Kepha is spelled Kepha. Or you can go to PayPal, paypal.me/Dawn of Prophecy 777. All that together. All right. It's on the screen up under my name. You guys can screenshot that or whatever, however you guys do it. Everybody knows how to work a computer better than me. And we're going to come back and we're going to continue this teaching because it's imperative that you all understand what the Spirit has to say to the church. It's very imperative, but it is also imperative that I don't wear you out and that I give you the opportunity to be able to operate and flow in this stead. I love every last one of you. We love you with the love of Jehovah, the love of Yah. We love you. We give him all the praise. We give him all the honor because we're going to be back most definitely probably on Friday to finish out this teaching. And by then, I hope some of you will want to sign up for our Zoom classes because that's where you can get a lot more personal and ask more questions if necessary. Listen, I'm Archbishop Kepha Ben Israel, Doctor of Divinity. I am your master teacher and professor of the School of Eschatology. We love you. We say amen to you and we bless you.